What's up guys, Tanmaya for Simple Snippets, and I'm back with another video tutorial on operational research. So today we'll be addressing the sequencing problem, and in sequencing problem we have multiple jobs and multiple machines. So the problem arises when how to assign values or how to assign jobs to different machines, and we have to calculate the total amount of time. So let me just explain to you the numerical what we are going to solve. Okay, so let me just read out the problem. So we have 7 jobs and each of which have to go through machine A and B in a order. That is, first we assign the jobs to machine A and then to machine B. Now processing time is given in hours in the table, and we have to calculate the total elapsed time, the idle time of both machines, and total idle time of the entire system. So say for example you have machine A and B as given in the table, and we have 7 jobs. So each of the job is to be processed on both the machines, and we have to first assign for machine A and then assign that same job to machine B. So consider you have a car manufacturing company wherein you have 2 different machines, and the first machine makes the interior and the second machine makes the exterior. So in order to complete the car, you need both the machines to work on it, right? So that kind of problems are sort of sequencing problems. So in step 1, what we have to do is we have to find the optimum sequence, that is the sequence in which the jobs are going to be allotted to different machines. And the way we go about it is we first find out the minimum number of value or minimum hour to be assigned in the entire table. So as you can see, number of hours, that is 1, which is minimum in this case. And you know that machine B, when assigned job number 6, will take 1 hour. So for machine B, we will start from right to left, and for machine A, we will start from left to right. So since the minimum value 1 is for machine B and it's for job number 6, I'll write job number 6 over here and starting from right to left. Now I'll cancel out this entire column. So now let's start with the another least value. So you can see 3 is the next least value in this entire table. So you can either go ahead with job number 7 or job number 1. So I'll start with job number 1. For job number 1, machine A has the least time. So for machine A, we have to start from left to right. And since it is job number 1, I'll write job number 1 over here, since this is the optimum sequence for the jobs. Now again, I'll cancel out this entire column. So let's see the next minimum value, which is again 3. But this time it is for machine B and job number 7. And for machine B, we start from right to left. And it's job number 7. So I'll write it down over here. And again, I'll cancel out this entire column. Now let's see the minimum value, which is 6, and in both cases it is machine A and B. So you can either start from machine B or machine A, but since A has higher precedence over B, we start from left to right. That is, we write down the job number 4 for machine A starting from left to right, and again cancel out this entire column. Now again we find out the minimum value, and now the minimum value is 10. So for job number 2, it's machine B which is having the least value. So I'll start from right to left. I'll write job number 2. I'll cancel out this column. For machine A, it's from left to right. I'll write job number 5. I'll cancel out this column. And again, we have one more 10 value. So it's for machine B and job number 3, which is the last one remaining. So I'll just write it out and cancel out this column. So now we have the optimum sequence of jobs. So this is the sequence starting from left to right that we are going to process. Now the step 2 is when we have to calculate all the different values that we are supposed to calculate. That is the idle time or total elapsed time. And for that we needed the optimum sequence. So let me just write down the optimum sequence that we just calculated. Okay, so since we know that machine A has higher precedence over machine B, that is, all the jobs are first going to be processed on machine A. So we'll first calculate 3 different criteria for machine A, that is the time in, time out, and the idle time. So time in is when the job was started at machine A, time out is when the job finished from machine A, and idle time is when the machine had to wait for certain reasons. So for the first time, initially for job 1, we know that there is no idle time. So the machine is directly going to start for the first time. And for the first time, the time is going to be 0. So we consider that it started at 0th hour. At machine A, we know that it is going to take 3 hours according to our given table. So from 0 to 3, job 1 is going to be performed at machine A. Of course, the idle time is going to be 0. So the next job will enter at time 3 because till then it was busy processing job 1. So now job 4 at machine A. So we know job 4 at machine A is going to take 6 hours. So 3 plus 6 would give us 9. And again, there was no interruption, so there was no idle time. So let's move on to the next job, that is job 5 on machine A. So we know the job 5 on machine A is going to take 10 hours and it will start from 9th hour. So 9 plus 10 would give us 19 without any idle time. Then we move ahead to job 3 on machine A. So job 3 on machine A is going to take 15 hours starting from 19 and 19 plus 15 is going to give us 34. So 34 hours have been passed, and the idle time is of course going to be 0 because it did not wait for anything or any reason. Then we have to see for job 2 on machine A. So we know job 2 on machine A is going to take 12 hours starting from 34, so that would be 46 hours. Then again job 7 on machine A is going to take 9 hours starting from 46th hour, so this would be 55. 46 plus 9 is going to give us 55 without any idle time. And again job 6 is going to start at 55th hour and it is going to be executed for 11 more hours on machine A, so that would give us 66. Okay, so these are the different calculations for machine A, and we got that the idle time for machine A is 0 and total elapsed time on machine A would be this value, that is the last value. So moving on to machine B, since the entire system started at 0th hour, so we know that it started at 0th hour, and for the first 3 hours it was processing job 1, and even though machine B was also started at 0th hour, it had to wait for 3 hours because the first job was being processed at machine A. So the end time here would be 3 because it had to wait 3 hours for machine A to process job 1. Since we know that machine A has high precedence over B and all the jobs are being processed at machine A, so even though the machine B started at 0th hour, it had to wait for 3 hours. So here idle time would be 3 for the first time. Okay, so now let's see how the job 1 was executed at machine B. So for job 1 on machine B, we know it takes 8 hours. So starting from 3, we have to add plus 8. So this would give us 11. So here the time out would be 11. Now for job 4. Now we know the job 4 started at 3rd hour and it was processed out of machine A at 9th hour. Now for job 4 on machine B, the time out or time in would start from 11 and not from 9 because machine B was busy processing job 1 till 11th hour, and by that time the job 4 was already done on machine A, that is 9th hour. So again in time on this would be 11th hour for job 4. Of course, since there is no lag between time out and time in between job 1 and 4 for machine B, there is no idle time. So starting from 11th hour, we know that job 4 on machine B takes 6 hours. So 11 plus 6 would give us 17. Now the time out or machine B processed job 4 completely at 17th hour. So you must be thinking the time in would be 17. But observe here that the job 5 during 17th hour was being processed at machine A because job 5 completely got processed only after 19th hour. That means 2 hours this machine B had to wait. So that is the reason why the time in for job 5 would be 19 and not 17. So even though the job number 4 was already processed at machine B, it had to wait for 2 hours for job number 5 to come in because job number 5 was still being processed at machine A. So that is the reason why even after 17 it has to wait 2 hours. That is the time in for the next job, that is job number 5 would be 19. Now let's see for job 5 on machine B. So job 5 on machine B takes 12 hours. So 19 plus 12 would give us 31. Now again we have to compare 31 and 34. So since we know job 3 was being processed at machine A till 34th hour, machine B had to wait till 34 in order to process the job 3. So it has to wait for 34 minus 31, that is 3 hours, and it will start from 34th hour. So we have to always check timeout of machine B and timeout of machine A of the next job. So this is again 34. So we have to check for job 3 on machine B will take 10 hours. So 34 plus 10 would give us 44. Now again we have to check 44 and 46. So we know that job 2 was being processed on machine A till 46th hour. So time in would be 46 and not 44 because it has to wait for 2 hours, that is machine B has to wait for 2 hours more even after 44 because it was being processed by machine A. So I'll write idle time 2. The number of time it has to wait is the idle time of machine B. So starting from 46th hour, we have to see job number 2 on machine B, which again takes 10 hours. So 46 plus 10 will give us 56. Now comparing the timeout of 56 with 55, that is next job of machine A. So we know that job number 7 was completed by machine A at 55th hour and job number 2 was completed by machine B at 56th hour. So since this timeout is greater, that is 56 is greater than 55, we have to write it as it is, so 56. Because of course machine B did not have to wait for job number 7 because it was already done by machine A at 55th hour. And we can see that job number 7 for machine B takes 3 hours. So 56 plus 3 would give us 59, and this time the idle time was 0. Now we have to again compare 59 with 66. So we know the job number 7 on machine B got over at 59th hour and and machine B wants to process job number 6 now. But job number 6 is being processed already by machine A till 66th hour. So it has to wait from 59 to 66th hour. So that is, it has to wait for about 7 more hours, and the time in would be after 66 only. So we have to start at 66th hour after the job 6 is being processed or completed at machine A. So job number 6 on machine B takes 1 hour. So this would be 66 to 67, and there you go with the final table completion. Okay, so now that we've calculated all the table values that we require, we'll move ahead with the final answers. So we have to find out the idle time of machine A, idle time of machine B. We have to find out the total idle time of the entire system, and we have to find out the total elapsed time. So all these values we can find out from the table that we just solved. So let's see the idle time of machine A. So as you can see, machine A completed its last job at the 66th hour, but the entire system stopped or completed all the jobs at 67th hour. So still machine A was kept idle from 67 to 66th hour. That is, it has to wait 1 hour. So the idle time of machine A would be 1 hour. Now idle time of machine B we have calculated over here. So we have to add 3 plus 2, again 3 plus 2 and plus 7. That would give us 17 hours. And the total idle time would be 17 plus 1, that is 18 hours. Now the total elapsed time is the last value when the last job was done on machine B. So as you can see, I have marked it in a yellow box, and 67 is the last hour where the last job was finished by machine B. So the total elapsed time would be 67th hour. Okay, so these are the final answers that we require, and we have to solve the entire table to get these answers. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you understood the entire process and how to go about solving this numerical. And if you like it, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you have any queries or doubts, you can always put them in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Peace.